Hello goblins, it's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. It's an episode of this week's Pipes. What a week it's been. Some ups, some downs. The big down being the company that I buy my pigments from, resin pigments. Certainly for all of the vintage swirl, but even for some of the Cumberland, in the Cumberland range, looks like they're going out of business. And nobody does anything like what they do. Kind of got half a mind to email them and say, hey, who supplies you? Might be a bit heartless to do it right now, but maybe in a little bit. I don't know if they realise how many people rely on them for the products that they produce, but I know it's not just me that's hurting, but man, they're not gone just yet, but it's not looking good, and I think we'll know in a week or two what's going on. So that's that. Not good news. I was hoping to expand the resin business. Now it looks like it's going to contract, which is, well, things could definitely be worse, but they could have been a lot better as well. I guess we have to view these things philosophically, don't we? That's what we have to do. I finished watching The Detectorists, and everything from the beginning right through to the end of season 3, including a mid-Christmas special, was amazing. Just loved it. But then, I think the third series ended 2017, and they came back and they did a special in 2002, and I didn't really like that so much. I don't know. You could really tell that there was a sort of a disjointedness to it. The vibe was off. Yes, there was a jump in time, but it was all just, it didn't feel the same at all. So currently I prefer to think of those guys, leaving them at the end of season 3 and not bothering with that special. Looking forward to Lockwood & Co. That starts tonight. That's a series that me and Wolf read a couple of years back. So the books were good. So it'll be interesting to see how the series goes. The series looks, from the trailer, it looks like they've done a good job. What to say? Yeah. All right. Pipes. Okay. First of all, I'm smoking Tilbury. Expect that to be the case for some time to come. It's yeah. It's really nice just to be able to smoke it without having to worry about it. This week's Pipes. Now, the observant among you may remember a couple of weeks back I did a week of just reading pipes because I was doing a commission for reading pipes. Well, that was week 1 because it was a 6-pipe commission. This is week 2 for the final 3 pipes of that 6-pipe commission. So they are, I'll spoil it now, all reading pipes. But again, it's a good way to see how the same shape can be treated differently. If any of you out there are thinking about commissions, it gives you a good idea of the kinds of things that you can discuss. So, let's get started. Black Blast with ultraviolet stem. Ring grain picked up really nicely. Not totally crazy plateau, which is interesting. And that all of these are, the plateau is somewhat well behaved. One's a little wild. Again, loads of ring grain. Kind of just a medium blast on this. If you're not familiar with the reading pipe shape that I do, it's 7.5 inches long and the bowl is 2 inches deep. So it's a long smoke. It's a kind of long stem. Not church warden. Church warden, I was just thinking about it the other day. And the awkwardness of making church warden stems. Because they're so long, they have to be quite thin. Otherwise, weight-wise, they just unbalance the pipe. They are a challenge to make church warden stems. As Chris knows really well. That's Chris Herriot of Wazo Briars. He had a spate of doing church warden style pipes. I'm sure he regretted. Maybe you're still making them, Chris, I don't know. Nice piece of ultraviolet wave that I'll cry if I've got enough pigment to last a little while. So for my own personal use, I'll have it for some time to come. But in terms of selling it, I don't think I'll have enough to do any sizable order. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Like there's opaque down one side, opaque down the other, transparent down the centre on that side. So, Black Blast with ultraviolet stem. That's a very modern look. Modern look. Trying to remember the first pipe I ever ordered. Not just went into a pipe and ordered a shop. Went into a shop and ordered a pipe. I ordered this Peterson in like a black. It was smooth, but it wasn't polished. It was like a matte black finish. I thought it was really interesting. I'm pretty sure I've still got it kicking around somewhere. So that was number 4 of the commission lot. Super warm and inviting looking finish on this one. Chocolate and orange contrast blast. Pretty much inspired by the amber flame stem. I thought I've really got to do something that like brings this pipe together. And so the chocolate and orange with the amber flame just kind of sang to me. Really nice how the contrast, like picking out all the straight grain. All the straight grain like coming down that way. Picking out the straight grain on the stem. I left the bottom dark actually. I saw no need because I was going to keep the rim dark as well. And the amber flame stem, more or less the star of the vintage swell range. Now I'm thinking about how much amber I've got left. I think I've got a reasonable amount. Yeah, a reasonable amount. I'm not going to think about it. Anyway, again, I kind of like the sandblast finish on this is like really etched into the ring grain really nicely. Funnily enough, I think in this kind of style, you always kind of feel that the contrast blast picks out the straight grain, while the actual sandblast seems to pick out the ring grain. So you kind of like get that double effect. I don't know if that's just an effect of the contrast blast. It is that when you then see like the physical blast, your eye then goes to the ring grain because the straight grain is already picked out by the contrast. Quite possibly. Here's the last one in a moment. I was wanting to do one that stood out from all the others, went a different way. And I nearly went with a natural sandblast on this. That was kind of my feeling at the beginning, but wound up going a different way. I think maybe it was because of the contrast blast on the chocolate and orange on the amber went so well. I kind of like wanted to try my luck twice. But the stem was the olive Cumberland. So I went with a yellow and black contrast. Again, you can kind of see how, like, when it comes to the actual blast, your eye is drawn to the ring grain because the contrast blast kind of dominates on the straight grain. Nice little slope on this guy. Again, the contrast like really picked out. Obviously, it's quite a high contrast. The yellow is very bright. The colour of the briar dims it a little, but it was quite pale briar, so the yellow really worked on it. Got the rim black, and that is the olive Cumberland, which is one of the Cumberland colours that I'm going to have an issue with in time. Not straight away, but in time. I realise on this screen it kind of looks like a mustard yellow. It's a bit, I think the contrast is slightly amped up on the camera, but it's a more sort of mustard kind of colour. There you go. I think it's done. contrast black and yellow. So those are cool. Those are all done. Those will be going off to Stephen Cobbett of the Shire. I seem to recall that might be your handle on YouTube, Stephen. Alright, that's it for this week. I'll be back next week, for sure. For sure. Who can say for sure these days? But highly likely I shall be back next week with another video and who knows what else. Till then, take it very easy. Loyal pipe maker.